Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy 45-degree Friday.
Whew, yes, it's better than 19.
Yes, it is. But it's sunny. That makes a big difference. So,
Yep.
I think we had a good class plan for today. What do you think?
Oh, always. Absolutely.
And I was thinking this morning, I was just thinking what we're going to talk about. The stat still baffles my brain that 71% of real estate agents in the National Association of Realtors did not have a closing last year. And I'm running stats for us now, and 70% of our agents did have a closing last year. Complete reversal. And
Hmm.
the reason is you guys know a lot more than other people.
That's
And
right.
that's because you attend training classes to feel comfortable and competent. And that's what we want you to be. So for the last couple of weeks, we've been taking parts of the contract and breaking them down in little bits and pieces and spending 2 or 3 hours doing the whole contract. And then we're doing some other stuff too. So, and you've done a great job, Kathleen, of finding things that we've created to make the agent's life easier that I don't really talk about. So we're gonna go through some of that today too. So we'll jump right in. I will share my screen. Screen.
And
And
always kudos to the back office for keeping us with
absolutely.
really well done, organized documents too.
Yep.
Takes a village,
We have good
not just
systems in
one.
place.
Yup.
All right, so we did paragraphs 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the last 2 weeks. We did paragraphs 5, 6, and 7 today. And then we're going to work on something that kind of ties together with these paragraphs. Okay, so paragraph 5, why don't you start? Extension of closing date.
Sure. Extension of closing date in the event closing funds from buyer's lender are not available or lenders on closing date due to consumer financial, that's a CFPB bureau closing, it's a mouthful, requirements. If paragraph 8B is checked, loan approval has been obtained and lender's underwriting is complete. Their closing date shall be extended for such period necessary to satisfy CFPB requirements, provided such period does not exceed 7 days.
Okay, let's turn that into English for a lot of
And
people.
yeah, I was about to say that.
The CFPB is the Consumer Financial Protection Board. And many, many years ago, people were getting very bad loan information. They were getting interest-only loans. They were getting loans that have negative amortization. They weren't told what it was. So now they're being told 3 days prior to closing, they have to be disclosed what's going on. And the loan term, most loan officers are really good at this. So it's not a problem really. But once in a while, it becomes a problem if we do a price adjustment or something like that. We have to redisclose to consumer.
That's
So
right. If you
we
add a
cannot.
responsibility to the buyer, it's going to trigger that rule, putting it in plain English.
So I had one a couple months ago. We changed the closing date because the appraisal didn't come in properly. And it happened like 2 days before closing, but we didn't have 3 days. So we had to redisclose. And the 3 days were 3 business days. And so the weekend didn't count. So it really pushed closing to Wednesday the next following week, which really pissed off the seller. But it's in the contract. So that is a legitimate extension problem. And
Mhm.
that's why you want to work with your loan officer to make sure that you're making sure your disclosures go out in time. And many
Right.
times the loan officers get them out way ahead of time.
Yep.
And then another reason for extension would be,
Oh my God, that word we hate that
I
we've had
know,
to deal with for a couple of years in a row, and I pray to God I don't have to fill any more sandbags. That would be that evil two words, force majeure, causing services essential for closing to be unavailable, including the unavailability of utilities, issuance of hazard, wind, flood, or homeowners insurance. Closing date shall be extended as provided in standard G. Now there's a magic word in here. There's a real important one. Provided necessary, right? Provided that they're not unavailable.
so a real life example here is there's a hurricane in the box and insurance underwriting is suspended and you need insurance in order to close. You've got an automatic extension because storm's in the box. So as we approach June, when July hurricane season starts, we want our consumers to bind their insurance policies right away. How do you bind the insurance policy? Pay for it. Then they've got insurance on the house. So if there is a storm coming, they've got coverage. But it just makes sense. Why would an insurance company write new policies when there's no storm is bearing down on our state?
All right.
And why would you penalize a buyer in Pensacola when the storm is going to hit Miami?
Right.
But the whole state shuts down. So that would be an
Correct.
example of force majeure being a reason to extend closing date. All right, paragraph 6, occupancy and possession. This is
Hmm.
interesting. You can do this one. I'll do the next one.
Okay, occupancy and possession, unless paragraph 6B is checked, seller shall at closing deliver occupancy and possession of the property to buyer free of tenants, occupants, rats. No, I just threw that in there to be funny. And future tenancies. Also at closing, seller shall have removed all personal items and trash from the property and shall deliver all keys, garage door openers, access devices, codes as applicable to buyer. If occupancy is to be delivered before closing, the buyer assumes all risk of loss to the property from date of occupancy, shall be responsible and liable for maintenance of that date, and shall have accepted the property in its existing condition at the time of taking occupancy. See Rider T, pre-occupancy, closing
Just
occupancy by buyer.
erase that from the contract. We don't want to do
Oh,
that. All right.
no.
So this is really clean and clear. I don't think it's really the right thing to do, but all the sellers do is get their stuff out.
Sweep
There's
it
nothing
out.
that says they have to, has to be swept, broom swept clean.
Yep,
Doesn't have to be professionally cleaned or anything. It's very nice to do that. I think it's a nice thing to do that. It's not
yep,
required.
nope.
But the basic premise here is once you buy it, you own it.
It's yours.
Okay? So we're going to cover that and not this, the next clause. B, check B if the property is subject to a lease. This has happened to you a couple times this year already,
Oh,
where we've got a house and there's an existing tenant in the house. And I've talked about it lately, so I'm not going to go into big detail. But if there's a
right.
tenant in the house, you want to verify that tenant as if they're going to be your tenant because they're going to be your tenant.
Uh-huh.
Are you happy with their form of lease? Are you happy with their security deposit? Are you happy with the rent they're paying? Have they paid on time? That's your job as the buyer to verify. That's paragraph 6B up here because it was talking about
Mhm.
6B up here.
Right.
So if there's a lease to the tenant of the property, as a listing agent, you want to get all those documents up front. Here's the
Yeah.
lease you're going to take over. Here's the security deposit you're going to take over. And then they have to transfer those monies into separate accounts and all that stuff has to happen. Very seldom are we selling a house with a tenant in it. And just for fun, we'll talk about this. Yesterday, an agent wrote me a question and they've got a customer who bought a house from us and the customer found a tenant who wants to rent it for 3 months. So she said, okay, didn't know much about that. There's a problem with renting a house for 3 months, isn't there?
Yeah, and if it's a hotel or if it's some condotel or
Even
there's a
even a
bunch
single
of
family home.
yeah, yeah,
There's a hotel tax. It's 13, it's up to 13%. Has to be paid monthly. And one check goes to the state and one check goes to the county for a
yeah.
hotel use tax. So any lease that's less than 6 months, 6 months. So you'll see a lot of people write a lease for 7 months or 6 months in a day or 7 months because they get out of the hotel occupancy tax. But anything
Mm-hmm.
less than 6 months requires a seller to pay tax bills every month as part of the rent. And a lot of people don't want to do that. That was
Yeah.
just a little aside. Okay. So, but anyway, so the seller has to provide you copies of everything, and they got time in order to do that. Right. So I'm not going to bore you with all those details because I want to get to the last paragraph we're going to cover today and then the form. Assignability.
Assignability comes in handy if you have, let's say, a husband and wife and they want to put a property into trust.
Mhm.
That's where this is a very helpful paragraph.
Or an LLC that you haven't formed yet.
Correct, correct. Because what does that mean? At title closing, they can do the deed as the sellers or the buyers need it to be. But if you don't have that box checked, it's not in the contract, they're gonna have to spend extra money afterwards, after they close,
Mhm.
to change the deed.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes in really, really handy.
So most
Uh,
likely use for that would be I'm buying a rental house and I don't have an LLC set up for it because all my LLCs are included the property. So I write
mhm,
the contract in Craig Beggins and or assigns name, or I check assignable here. And then I could assign that contract to my LLC when I form it.
mhm.
No funny business, no nothing. The only thing you want to pay
No,
attention to here is may assign and thereby be released from liability, which means you're dealing with Craig Beggins, or may assign but not be released from liability. No, I'm sorry. A means you're going to be dealing
yeah,
with
you
the LLC that
switched
has
it.
no
Yeah,
assets,
yeah,
or you can
right.
deal with me and I have assets. So
Yeah.
you don't want to be released from liability, generally
No,
speaking.
you don't know who you're gonna be dealing with at closing, who's gonna
Okay.
step into the contract. And this is common with investors. You see this a lot.
But a box does need to be checked here,
Yes, it does.
and a lot of people don't pay attention to that. Okay,
This is
so that
true.
gets us kind of through the closing part. We'll get to financing next week. But
Yeah.
Kathleen, you found an interesting form that I haven't seen in a while. And in practice, it's a really good one. And it ties right in paragraph 6, which we just talked about.
You
Did my
know,
screen,
as
did my screen
yes,
shift? Okay, good.
a little bit bigger. Yeah, this is something for purposes of CYA. You know what that means, everybody. You know,
Hmm.
you know. And E&O insurance. As a habit, this is something I've always been very fastidious about, not because I want to get Nerd of the Year award, but this protects us also as agents in the brokerage for purposes of compliance. When you have a pre closing walkthrough inspection report, when you do the walkthrough, make sure you have one of these in hand and have the buyer sign off on it, because later on down the road, if the buyer was to try to raise an issue of, oh, well, I didn't see this, I didn't do that, or I didn't know this was this, or something was supposed to be in the property, it's not there now. No, we did a walkthrough. If there was any objections, problems, suddenly a leaking ceiling, we would have pointed it out right then and there. And yep, thank you, Lauren. Um, and, and took care of it right away. So this is a very important tool. And you'll notice your co-brokes always have one in hand, but we want to have our own because ours protects us. Theirs protects them. Remember that. Just
Yes,
because one side has one doesn't mean it's the same thing as what we have written in ours.
right. So the buyer slash lessee completed the final walk through the property at 123 Andy Street on this date. They completed it. Buyer finds that the property is in substantially the same condition as of the date of the contract acceptance, and any or all corrections or repairs agreed to by seller or landlord have been completed, with the following exceptions.
Correct.
Perfect. It doesn't say there's any problems. It's not a big checklist of items. It goes by, is this
No,
still working? Is this still working? You can do all that, but this is your opportunity because once you buy it, you own it.
you own
Right?
it. You have the power of the pen right here. There's nothing
Mhm.
more important than being the one that can craft the document, because you
Mhm.
can really get a lot accomplished. Or you can nip it in the bud. There's no problems. Let's go to a closing table. Yay.
Mhm. And this is really just for the buyer and the agent to sign, not the seller.
That's right.
So it says buyer lessee accepts responsibility and releases, indemnifies, and holds harmless the seller, landlord, broker, and its agents from liability for any defects, malfunctions, or failures to the noted or those that could have been discovered. By signing below, buyer lessee understands and acknowledges this report. That is a major, major CYA that I haven't talked about in a long time, and I kind of forgot it was there. But
Yeah.
really,
I
you should
always
have
use
this
it.
in hand. If there's repairs that were made, the buyer signs off,
Yeah.
says, hey, they're made, right? We had a
Yep.
situation not too long ago where there's an outdoor kitchen and the seller had made a grill cover box to cover where the grill goes.
Mm.
And the buyer bought the house and went to go cook on the grill, and they removed the grill box cover and the grill was gone. But it was after closing. We don't know if the seller took the grill, if the
Or the
neighbor
neighbor.
stole the grill, or
Yeah.
a
The
criminal
dog
stole
did
the
it.
grill.
The
But
dog.
the fact of the matter is, they closed. The grill
That's
cover was
it.
there. They had the opportunity to
Yep.
look it up. They didn't. It's a hard lesson to learn, but having a
The
form like
grill
that
is
is a
gone.
very good cover your rear end
Yeah.
opportunity.
The grill is gone, baby.
Hmm.
Instead of the thrill, the grill.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just simply went to Dotloop, went to templates, typed in all documents, and went to well, typed in walkthrough, and there it is, right there. Right. This is probably something you want to have signed while you're there in person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And really, this
Yeah.
is not a form that you want to sign for on behalf of the buyer.
Never.
No, because what does it say at the bottom? Buyer accepts responsibility and releases
Correct.
us. You're not the buyer. You don't sign this form.
No, yeah, no, no. You don't stand in for the buyer. Even if they want to offer you a POA to do it, don't do it.
Hmm. Correct. One more thing I wanted to look at because I had something else in here.
Lauren made a good point too. She has people initial off on the HOA docs. I do that too. So her and I are very similar in our
Yes.
mindset.
Save that one for later. Okay, so that's just enough of contracts to get us comfortable so you know you're doing a good thing, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
understanding what it means. You got plain English so you can explain it in normal terms to a buyer or
yeah.
consumer, right?
Sure.
And
Right.
then I've been playing around with the code of ethics because it's interesting
Mm,
to see what we do and to watch the marketplace totally ignore the responsibilities that it calls for. So I don't want you guys doing that,
no.
ignoring the responsibilities that we have. So we're going to jump into the code of ethics now,
Yep.
which means I need to share my screen again.
Yeah.
Microphone's right in my face. And that we hear. So this is Article 12. And it's really a shame that we have to talk about this, but it is really not common. There's a lot of mistakes that happen, so we're going to cover some of these.
Yeah,
Realtors
really?
shall be honest and truthful in their real estate communications and shall present a true picture in their advertising, marketing, and other representations. Okay? Realtors shall ensure that their status as a real estate professional is readily apparent in their advertising, marketing, and other representations, and that the recipients of all real estate communications are or have been notified that those communications are from a real estate professional.
Can you make it a little bigger? Can't see it.
This is a small screen.
Yeah, there we go.
Um,
There we go.
so I see this all the time, um, especially with team advertising. So you see a yard sign and it says the Betty Joe Boop team, and you
Mhm.
don't know. It doesn't say they're a realtor. It doesn't say who their brokerage is. You see car decals and window signs on cars and magnets that talk about the agent and not the brokerage company. It's going to go into all
Mhm.
this. That's all improper and against a violation of the code of ethics,
I
which
was
is not
telling
like a
Joe,
criminal.
sorry,
It's not a criminal problem, but you do get sanctioned. You can get fined and you could be suspended
it's
for not
misleading.
following. Yeah. So what
John
are some other
Joe,
examples?
yeah,
I'm really
John Joe.
concerned about some of and I know our staff covers our butts pretty well, but I've heard it said that people are removing power lines from photographs. No, no, no. Got to be truthful in your picture of your advertising. You can't enhance the driveway and make it look like it's not all cracked when you show up. The driveway's been fixed. All of a sudden, it's not fixed when you get there. Not good. Virtual staging. You know what the virtual staging rules are, right? We have to put disclaimers in all the photos that this has been virtually staged because it's not going to look like that when you get there. So
Well, and
Article
Chris
12.
added it. And Chris added a good comment too. Social media posts all
Mhm.
the
Oh,
time. He's absolutely right. Constantly without any proper disclosure who your
yeah.
brokerage is.
And there's no real police out there looking, but that could change as well. And you guys, there's not an ego statement. It's a chapter 475. You are sub-agents of the brokerage. I happen to be the broker for most of the brokerages we own, but you are agents under the brokerage. So you work for Beggins Enterprises or Elizabeth Beggins or BE3, right? And either Jeff or
Well,
I qualify those companies. But that's
and if
who
I could
you work for.
and if I can jump in just a minute, they are
Mhm.
looking on social media. That's how the Sitzer Burnett case got to be. People chit-chatting on all these different sites about commissions and all that. It all came out of social media. When you look through that case that happened in Missouri and what got us to more transparency today, it all came from social media. It was stunning to me how much they had from social media and all the sources that they were able to subpoena and use in that case. Stunning. Not
Yeah.
to scare you, but that's where that came from, and it's still
Yeah.
ongoing.
And this is line. Realtors must not represent that their brokerage services to a client or customer are free or available at no cost to their clients. That was the Burnett Seitzer's case.
Yeah.
We don't charge the buyer anything. Bullshit. The buyer paid 3% more for the house because they had to give the seller the money to pay your commission. That's the whole argument right there in a nutshell. So don't advertise free unless you really are giving them something of value for free and you give it to
Yeah.
everybody because you can't discriminate against anyone.
No, but don't talk about commissions on social media or anywhere.
Nope.
That is a conversation that it has no place there.
Now, you are allowed to offer premiums, prizes, merchandise discounts, or other inducements to list, sell, purchase, free home warranty, for example. Um, in itself, it's not in itself unethical, even if the receipt of the benefit is contingent upon listing, selling, or purchasing, or leasing through the realtor making the offer. However, as realtors must exercise care and candor in such advertising or other public and private representations so that any party interested in receiving or otherwise benefiting from a realtor's offer will have clear, thorough, advanced understanding of all the terms and conditions of the offer. Makes sense, right?
Sure.
Don't offer a home warranty in one place and not in another. If you're going to offer a home warranty, you better offer a home warranty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or if you're going to offer a home warranty for a full price offer
Mm-hmm.
or something else, right? Um, hit 12.4 if you would.
Realtors shall not offer for sale or lease or advertise property without authority. That means written authority. When acting as a listing broker or subagents, realtors shall not quote a price different from that agreed upon with the seller landlord. In other words, if you've got a lease listing,
A
yeah,
pocket listing.
yeah, and it's for 2,500, you can't say to the potential tenant, wink, wink, well, I think I can get it for you for 2,200 or 2,000 or 1999. Don't do it.
But you know what's
Never.
happening out there, right? It is.
Glad it's not us. It's a jungle out there.
Mhm. 12.5, realtors shall not advertise nor permit any person employed by or affiliated with them to advertise real estate services or listed property in any medium, electric, print, radio, TV, etc., without disclosing the name of the realtor's firm in a reasonable and readily apparent manner, either in advertisement or in electronic advertising via a link to a display with all required disclosures. That's what Chris was talking about.
Yes.
You
Yes,
can't
he
say, look at
was.
my new listing on Facebook, Kathleen
Yeah.
Long, PA,
Yeah.
with Century 21 Bankers Enterprises. You'd have to
Yeah. Of
put the brokerage firm name in there because you're going to know who
course.
you're dealing with.
Absolutely. And just like on your signage, I was telling Craig yesterday, there was one that I saw, John Jones JD. Nothing about
Yeah.
the brokerage name, nothing about the fact that he's a realtor. Okay. JD doesn't mean squat. And matter of fact, it's a violation for him to even have those two things to merge those together under the ancillary business rule. So, I mean, I was really getting snarky about that one yesterday.
This one was interesting because as realtors, when advertising unlisted real property, which you guys know under MLS rules, we can't do that anymore, right? Any public marketing probably has to
Right.
be on the MLS.
Yeah.
But when advertising unlisted real property for sale or lease, in which they have an ownership interest, so my own personal property, I have to disclose my status as both the owner, landlord, and as a realtor or real estate licensee.
Yeah.
So whenever I buy real estate, it's Craig Beggins, a licensed real estate broker.
And
I always put that
disclosure
in there
A.
so they know I'm
Yeah.
disclosing I'm Craig Beggins and I'm a real estate broker
And
because
addendum
you
A.
have superior knowledge over the public.
Well,
Because
license the interest too, the addendum A in your contracts. You got to attach that.
this is interesting too. 12.7. I like these. I don't know, maybe I'm a dork, but I want to
No,
do
you're
it. I
not.
want to do a good job. I want to do it right. And I don't ever want to go up in front of the real estate commission.
No, it's a lot. It's a waste of time. Yeah, only realtors who participate in the transaction as the listing broker or cooperating broker, selling broker, may claim to have sold the property. That's absolutely beyond fair.
Yes.
Um, prior, yeah, to may claim to have sold the property prior to closing. A cooperating broker may post a sold sign on it only with the consent of the listing broker. Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. There, I
So
don't see
Kathleen,
any.
it's your listing and Coldwell Banker sells it. They can put a sold sign in if you authorize it.
Sure.
But if not, it has to be after closing. And I would typically not allow that. We'll put the sold sign on our listing, take the credit for the
Yeah,
sale.
I'll make the Chihuahua face.
Okay, 12.8. The obligation to present a true picture and representations to the public includes information presented, provided, or displayed on realtors' websites. Realtors shall use reasonable efforts to ensure that information on their websites are current. When it becomes apparent that information on a realtor's website is no longer current or accurate, realtors shall promptly take corrective action.
Take it down.
Interesting. Jimmy talked about this yesterday,
He did.
right?
Yep.
Update your crap.
Yep.
If your bios, if you've been with it, we have agents have been with us for 20 plus years,
Mhm.
and their bio might not have been updated for 10 or 15,
Oof.
and neither might their pictures have been. So it's a true picture of representations to the public.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to be vain.
Yeah.
Change it every year.
Yeah. If you decided to go blonde, I think you should probably change your picture because
Yeah.
it's not a true picture of who they're going to meet when they meet you at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
open house, right?
Yeah. I think I like doing that for a day. That'd be fun.
Then you always change it back.
Yeah.
Um, Now, the cool thing for us is Century 21 knows all this. This is a National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics,
Yeah.
right? So this is nationwide what all realtors are supposed to do. And this is one of the benefits. And I'm not preaching realtors, but I do like the realtor status brand. Realtors are held to a higher standard than regular real estate licensees. It used to be realtors you had to be a realtor to have MLS. Now you
That's
don't
right.
have to be a realtor to have MLS. It's one of the settlement things. But
Mhm.
still, having the realtor tag with your name should be a badge of honor,
Yeah.
right? And for things like
You
this,
earned it. Yeah, you earned it. You worked hard for it.
yeah, and you're held to a higher standard. It's
Yeah.
like an attorney having degrees after their name because they
Yeah.
specialize in what they specialize in.
Sure. Certifications.
Yep.
CRI. I can't emphasize enough how that's going to be a wonderful thing for the GRI, for you to get that. That is like a law degree in your pocket. I highly, highly recommend.
Yeah.
Go through and
And it
do
comes
it.
up in here, it says, don't say you have it if you don't.
Right.
Because there's
It's
a database of people that
misrepresentation.
had the GRI is a graduate of the Real Estate Institute, and the CCIM is a certified commercial investment manager. Then there's a single family property specialist, SSPS. There's a whole bunch of
Right.
courses you can take, and when you take them,
They're
you get
excellent.
Mhm.
You learn more. Never stop learning. Just because you got that license doesn't mean you stop. You got to continue. Craig will know every year I pick up something somewhere, some kind of license or whatever, not because I want to have a laundry list of them, but it's life improvement. Learning doesn't stop at a certain age. You want to keep going, 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 going.
Mhm.
Your clients
Now,
appreciate it.
and I said Century Home takes care of it. This is nationwide. So our websites have our realtors' names and our license numbers on them and all the stuff we're supposed to have because Century Home did all that in their Moxie websites for us. But I
Hmm.
do look at other people's websites that are not necessarily Century Home websites, and they very well could be totally misled.
Yeah.
I actually have a charge up right now with the Real Estate Commission with an agent who no longer works for us, and he has violently violated all of these acts, and he's going to lose his license. I'm pretty darn sure of it.
Mr. X. Yep.
Yep. Standard practice 1210. Think they're getting pretty serious about this? Obligates to present a true picture in their advertising and representations to the public includes internet contact, images, and URLs and domain names they use and prohibits realtors from. Stop for a moment. I was working with a builder and I said, I don't think that elevation is going to look good in this neighborhood. And I took that elevation and I pasted to ChatGPT and I said, can you make this look more coastal? And it said, thinking. Then it painted the house turquoise, put some gingerbread on it, and then some other stuff. Totally looks real, right? Can't do that
No.
without disclosing it. This is a modified picture.
Yeah.
So realtors' obligation to present the true picture in their advertising and representation to the public includes internet content, images, and the URLs and domain names they use, and prohibits realtors from engaging in deceptive or unauthorized framing of real estate brokerage websites. You've been on those. They make you sound like something that somebody else that's crazy.
Yeah.
That
Come
guy I'm
on.
talking about did some of that too. Manipulating listing and other content in a way that produces a deceptive or misleading result, taking out the power lines.
Hmm.
Deceptively using meta tags, keywords, or other devices, methods to direct, drive, or divert internet traffic. I don't know much about that. Mike could probably talk a lot more about it, but I've been posting some videos for Hammock Bay, and I've been tagging hashtags of Circles Restaurant and stuff like that, because people that are looking for Circles might see that YouTube video. Good
Yeah.
point, Carl. Yes, your photographer should know the real estate ethics as well.
Well, and they're
Um,
talking about those meta tags and the search words that you can embed in your search meta and your website that can
right.
actually snatch from other unauthorized.
Yeah, it'll pop up on the YouTube channel side
Yeah,
when you search for
yeah.
something different. Um, you can do 1211. We're almost done.
1211, realtors intending to share or sell consumer information gathered by way of the internet shall disclose that possibly in a reasonably readily apparent manner. In other words, a disclosure in there.
So I'm not worried about that for us and what we do as a company, but some agents that hire website designers could be gathering data and reselling it to other people.
It's a
And
big
that's just not,
market.
yeah. And it's not illegal. It just has to be disclosed very properly. You might have heard Zillow's in about 14 different lawsuits right now.
Yep.
That's part of the reason. Um,
Uh-huh. Yep. They sell
and
your information. Not, I'm
And
not
once
saying
again, we have Century 21, so we don't have a lot of this to worry about. But realtors shall not, notice how I say realtors, because it's not realtors. That just drives me crazy. But the use URLs or domain names that present less than a true picture, or registered URLs or domain names, which, if used, would present less than a true picture.
yeah.
Some people own dozens and dozens and dozens of URLs, right?
Yes.
And you
Yes.
could make them sound different than they really are. And you
Yeah.
can do the last one, and we're going to finish on time. That's pretty cool.
I know. Amazing. We move quick. Realtors shall not use URLs or domain names that present less than a true picture
No, that one,
or
13, this one.
13, sorry. The obligation, okay, now I can see it. The obligation to present a true picture and advertising, marketing, representations allow realtors to use and display only professional, designations, certifications, and other credentials to which they are legitimately entitled. So don't be
Mhm.
snatching what you think might be a fancy title and
Right.
throw it behind your name when you didn't earn it. It's not, you really don't have it. We don't
Yeah.
do that. This group never has. I
No.
never see that.
Right. So give me a little chatter there. Do you guys like this code of ethics stuff or not? Because I don't have to keep doing it. I just think it's kind of interesting to know what the rules are and just to call them out because you're going to question it. We do have resources to go look. You do like
And
it,
for
John? Thank you.
your continuing education is kind of like a little mini crash course
It
too.
really is.
A lot of us have it coming
We
up.
do
I
have
know.
to know. Look, that's why I love you guys so much. You really just want to do a good job, and it shows because 70% of you do business and 71% of our competitors don't. Look at that.
Oh, I love you guys.
Awesome, awesome.
Virtual hugs.
Cool. All right.
Virtual.
So we're gonna keep breaking the contract down on Fridays
Yeah.
and just have little paragraphs because I want you to be able to paraphrase it and make it sound less scary because none of this
Yeah.
is really scary. We don't do anything bad, but the contract, if read verbatim, can make it sound bad, right? Kathleen and I
Right.
are negotiating something right now, and the Word document they sent said one thing, which led me to agree with it. Then he sent
Mm-hmm.
it in PDF form, and they changed a major part of that document.
Uh-huh.
That's not fair. That's
Nope.
just that's not right. But you got to be double. So when you're reading contracts, I want you to just know what they say, and in plain English, be able to explain them. So
And a lot of times too, again, Craig knows this too. We'll be working on something and I'll write something. I'll make changes 3 or 4 times to it.
yeah, you did last
And
night.
drive. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Crazy. But I want it right. I want it, done
Mhm.
specifically the first time because you have the power of the pen that you're authoring something. You want it to be right.
Yep. Very good. Okay, guys. Well, it's Friday. It's 9:30 in the morning.
And Super
Have
Bowl
a wonderful.
weekend.
Is
Super
it
Bowl
Super Bowl
weekend.
weekend? I see. I'm
Yes,
so yeah.
yes, 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 it is. It is.
Okay.
Mm.
Very cool.
Thinking
All
about
right.
New England.
Well, happy Friday. Have a great day.
Happy Friday.
Bye all.
Bye.